This is another edition of the Eurovision video essays, and this time I will debunk the myth of the Eastern European bloc's role in Eurovision and the alleged bloc voting that gives Western Europeans sleepless nights every May. I'm going to reveal hypocrisy and falsehoods, and I'm also going to prove everything what I say with heavy data and statistics. I'm not trying to deny that certain countries have an alliance, because those that share similar cultural elements, traditions, even music do tend to vote for each other. I'm here to prove that the extent they're willing to go to is much less than most people think. Bloc voting does not have enough magnitude to influence the final outcome of the contest, let alone the winner. And is it really a thing? First of all, let's define the group of countries that are allegedly thick as thieves. Eastern Europe gives what I call the goulash votes, in which countries that formerly belonged to the Soviet Union are the biggest offenders. There's truth in it, but the fluctuation in the number of Eastern European countries in the grand finals is actually huge. This wouldn't be the case if they were consistent in giving each other the same amount of support every year. Sometimes 50% of the finalists are Eastern European, but other times they can't even reach 40%. For me, this right here proves that they don't dominate the contest, but let's dive in deeper. The 2007 edition is an infamous case in the history of bloc voting because it had the highest proportion of Eastern European countries doing exceptionally well. 10 out of 10 qualifying countries were Eastern European in the semi-final, so were 9 out of the top 10 countries in the final. All of this had been blamed on bloc voting, so let's see what would have happened in the semi-final if only non-Eastern European countries were able to vote. That's the soufflé vote. Georgia, Moldova and North Macedonia would have been eliminated, and Portugal, Iceland and Andorra would have qualified. But this is where I have to call out the double standard. You could argue that the goulash vote prevented these countries from qualifying, but turns out it still would have been bloc voting that would have helped these countries to qualify. The bloc votes just wouldn't have come from Eastern Europe. Iceland got points from Scandinavian countries only. Andorra got their 12 points from Spain. Without those essential votes from the neighbours, neither country would have qualified. So it's tit for tat really. In the semi-final, overall, a whopping 71% of the soufflé vote went to Eastern Europe. So after such a landslide of votes, I find it hard to wrap my head around the distaste Eastern Europe got for allegedly voting in a bloc, when all they had done was sending genuinely good songs. In the final, only one non-Eastern European country landed in the top 10. If we only count the soufflé vote, Romania, another Eastern European country, would have advanced to the top 10. The other country would have been Sweden, but yet again, their points could be easily taken as bloc votes. Most of them were from Scandinavian countries. Without those, they would have landed in the bottom. After the contest, Malta had led calls for the voting system to be overhauled. They wanted Eastern European countries to scrap their televotes. First of all, that's not really democratic, but you know what's funny? If they had succeeded, only one country would have left that had given them points, and Ireland would have also become a null-point country. Former scrutineer of Eurovision, Svante Soxelius, said, "People blame bloc voting in their disappointment when they try to find explanations." Good point. Now let's see 2019. In the semi-final, 44% of the goulash vote went to the other side, which is almost half of their points, you gotta give them that. In the first semi-final, oddly, San Marino won the goulash televote, Iceland came second, followed by Australia. While in the second semi-final, the Netherlands came first, Norway second and Azerbaijan third. The goulash vote mixing with the soufflé vote resulted in having the least amount of Eastern European countries in a Eurovision final, 9 out of 26 to be exact. So for me, the reason for the outcome of the 2007 and the 2019 contests is evident. In 2007, the majority of good songs were sent by Eastern Europe, but in 2019, the quality of non-Eastern European music prevailed. At the end of the day, most viewers don't really care about the nationality of the entry. If the song is good, they'll just vote for it. This is why 60% of the goulash vote went to the other side in the 2019 final. What bloc voting? Furthermore, Eastern European countries don't even win the contest often. Eastern European countries minus Yugoslavia started debuting in the early 90s, so in 27 years they only managed to win 8 times. That's not what I would call domination. Like, just in the last decade, only 2 Eastern European countries won the contest. To some extent, countries that share very similar cultural elements, even political elements, might vote for each other. But you can't tell me that this was better than this, or this deserved to win instead of this. And can I just point out the hypocrisy of it all? The failure of the Netherlands to reach the final in 2005 was held up in the Dutch media as an example of how power within Europe has shifted eastwards. A power shift. Interesting choice of words. It's like they're admitting that they feel superior and want to hold on to that power. Of course, as the Netherlands had gone on in the contest, they earned the victory and got proven wrong. But it's crazy that at the time, one elimination was enough for them to turn on Eastern Europe like that, and really showed the entitlement that a lot of Western European countries share. Ireland sent a troll act in 2008 as a protest against the Goulash vote. The UK's longtime commentator Terry Wogan stepped down in 2008 as well after the UK finished last and Russia won. I guess Eurovision works for a lot of people only when their country does well, and instead of putting more effort into choosing the right song for the contest, it's easier to find scapegoats. At the end of the day, the song that resonates with the most people wins the contest. No country and region has enough power to manipulate the outcome. Good luck for next year and may the best song win.